Hello, so I am back for another video where I dive into a very specific topic that is kind of being bandied about on the internet in various capacities. So the first video that I did, I called it Let's Unpack This. I am toying around with the name, and so for this video we're going to peel back the layers, and really the point of it, regardless of what name I ultimately land on, is it's a conversation. It's kind of a casual conversation about a specific topic. And by casual, I mean, you're invited to join with healthy curiosity, to learn more and to be able to kind of dig in so that you can seek better understanding. And so it's not like a formalized presentation or lecture or class or anything like that. It's really just a discussion, because when you're digging deeper, that needs to be a flow of ideas. And that's ultimately what I would like for this particular video series to be, a flow of ideas. So it'll start off, back and forth like this, but then in the comment section, I definitely encourage thoughts and ideas and feedback and kind of perspectives. And then we can work through whatever the topic is together, where we can kind of land on an agreement, or you might pose questions that make me want to do another peeling back of the layers of that particular form of the topic. So that is what this series is about. The topic that I would like to peel back the layers on for this video is the meme-ification of Breonna Taylor. Now, when I first heard the concept, I was kind of like, this feels accurate and valid. Like, it definitely feels like it was circling around what I was beginning to think as I saw more people kind of starting to talk about Breonna Taylor's case, and would do things like, hey guys, come on in, let me talk to you for a minute about my favorite dance move, and then we'll do a dance move and then be like, but also I want to make sure that you arrest the cops that murdered Breonna Taylor, and then cut the video. And for me, when I would see those, it would kind of feel like it was being trivialized. I don't think, though, that was the intention of the people who were doing the video. Even there's a song where in the song it says arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Like, even in that, the way that it's being used there, it still felt a little trivial. Like it was being trivialized, but not necessarily intentionally. I definitely think that the people who are incorporating it this way are doing it to bring awareness, and they want to make sure that people don't forget Breonna Taylor's name and her case that's still open, and especially as the police officers who murdered her are out in the world going to beaches and spending time with their family. The DA who chose not to prosecute or pursue the case in any real way is, or the DA, whoever the legal person, the attorney in that particular city and state that I'm drawing a blank on, is getting engaged and having these elaborate functions mid-COVID. So all of this, where these people are living their best lives and she is no longer here. And so I definitely understand and appreciate that they want to keep her name in the zeitgeist, in the conversation, because it is definitely not lost on me that whenever a woman is killed by the police, a Black woman, that her name is often cycled through and cycled out a lot more quickly than a Black man. That's a whole other conversation that we're not addressing right now, but that is the whole impetus behind the hashtag say her name, social media, hashtag that is often used in reference to the different women of all ilk who have been killed either by the police, who have been killed, just murdered in general. It's often Black women, it's often trans women, it's often, the women who tend to be most often oppressed and commodified and pushed aside and, shoved under for other people. And so I definitely can understand and appreciate the desire to keep her name at the forefront. However, I do think that it is important to be intentional about mentioning her case and focus on bringing awareness, but also educating people on how they can help move things forward. where they can, if they can at all. And so by at least, or if you're mentioning her name, just talking about the case, describing the case. And so in that vein, I'm definitely going to link to some articles and things that talk about the case, just for, providing additional awareness, but also driving people to a place where they can show up and support in some fashion. With that, let's get back to the meme-ification. And so let's start with the basis. What is a meme? I did just a quick Google search, which everyone can do, a cursory Google search, just to see what came up. And so what came up was the first definition. So there were two: an element of a culture or system of behavior that may be considered to be passed from one individual to another by non-genetic means, especially imitation. So it's just an element of culture or behavior. So it's, when somebody mimics the way that somebody speaks, or if somebody says that. Memes definitely happen in real time really quickly on like TikTok, because people will take the audio from another person's video and then they'll lip sync it, or they'll kind of mime it, and then that particular piece of the audio kind of is passed around. That particular piece of audio becomes a meme. So I think also a lot of people have a visual that a meme is, that image with the big block letters, or a picture of, with a specific set of words on top, and it has a specific format. As this definition says, a meme is just an element of culture or a system of behavior. So a meme can be a gesture. It can be, anything that is passed from person to person that people begin to utilize as a part of that becomes part of the culture. Another definition of meme is a humorous image, video, piece of text, etc. that is copied, often with slight variations, and spread rapidly by internet users. And so it's important to realize that essentially a meme is a piece of content, a piece of culture that is shared rapidly, that is shared amongst a lot of people. And oftentimes it becomes a little trivialized, like whatever the meme is about, it becomes, a source of humor, or a funny ditty, or a cute thing, or something that people, engage with in a lighthearted fashion. And so this is where hearing the whole idea of the meme-ification of Breonna Taylor, and seeing how it's happening, and how, arrest the cops that murdered Breonna Taylor is becoming a meme. Like if there's a song that I'll link below, that the artist who makes the song is a dope artist. I like a lot of what he does, and I know, and he's from Texas, which I think, don't get me the lines, I can't remember. I'm drawing a complete blank on the details of where Breonna Taylor lived at the time. I can't remember, but the artist who incorporated her name into the song, I know that his intention was to bring awareness to it. But what's now happening is people are taking that piece of the song and making videos using that piece of the song. So you see it on TikTok, you see it on Instagram, you see it on Twitter, on Facebook, etc. And it's become a meme. And so, but really, it shouldn't, just because the whole point is to keep her name in the conversation, not just to keep her name in the conversation, but to fight for justice, and to fight for, justice for her family, for the loss of Breonna Taylor. She was a human being. She was murdered by the police in her city, while she was asleep in her home. And so I think that it is just important that when people, get into the fight and want to support a cause and want to bring awareness, but also just keep things going, keep things out there in the culture, that they think about the most effective way to do it, so that the levity and the gravity of it remains. And so I'm not even saying that what's happening is that people are kind of making it trivial. I don't think that's the intention. And whenever you see it, that it's being done. The intention is for it to support the case and support justice that needs to be served for her case. However, imagine as more time passes, what's going to happen is that it will kind of fade into the background, as with a lot of what happens with cases that are not resolved, that take more time to resolve, I'll say, that they tend to kind of fade into the background. And so then it can potentially become a trivialized meme, that where people are paying a lot less attention to whether justice is served and those police officers are arrested and, prosecuted, or whatever you believe. There's some type of consequences, whether you are, pro abolish the prison industrial complex, or you are pro take advantage of it, whatever it is. What we're ultimately about is being pro consequences for those police officers who are currently experiencing no consequences. So no real sustainable consequences. And so I do think that is important for us to always be aware of, if we're supporting a cause, are we just saying, here this is, are we kind of putting it in a position to potentially be trivialized? And think about less about your intention and more about the impact. I think it's worthy to consider, especially as more things happen and more people become aware that, you don't have to be a full-time activist in order to support a cause. You can still support a cause and be very vocal about a cause that that connects with you and that you want to support, but in a way that is action oriented. So even if it's just, I'm talking about it, but I'm also sharing information about it. I'm also passing around, petitions, or if there are marches happening in your city, or if you are at a march for someone else, include Breonna Taylor's name in the mix. Just those kind of things to keep the use of the awareness of what happened with her, to keep that hashtag and things as purposeful, so that it doesn't become a meme. And it's something I think that's worth thinking about. So I don't know if there's like a solve for this. I'm really, like I said, the whole point of the this video series is to kind of dig into a topic and peel back the layers. And so I wanted to peel back the layers on the meme-ification of it, and why and how it could possibly happen, so that we can look for ways to either make sure that it doesn't happen, so that when we are supporting causes and being an activist, that we are doing it, we're making sure that the impact is supporting the cause and activism, and that the impact doesn't turn into, maybe it becomes trivialized and becomes less impactful because you've seen it so many times, and now people are just kind of taking it as just another name or just another sad story, because that's not what we want. We want consequences for the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor. Simple as that. They need to have some consequences to that. And really, the point also is, we want consequences for the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor. There just needs to be consequences for cops who murder cops who step outside of the law. There need to be consequences of some kind. And so I think that is really the ultimate intent, is we need to hold them accountable across the board, not just for certain people. They need to be held accountable for all people, because they are accountable to us. And so that's what we should be doing as citizens who, the police and those agencies were created as supposedly to support, protect, serve the community. Again, another topic that we can talk about in another video. So that is my digging a little deeper, peeling back the layers on the meme-ification of Breonna Taylor. I definitely want to encourage thoughts, feedback, ideas, ways that we can not have this happen, so that we can make sure that our support of these causes and support of holding these police agencies accountable to the way that they treat Black lives and trans Black lives and trans lives and LGBTQIA plus lives, and all of the lives that they discard and treat as less than, that they treat those lives with the proper respect, the same respect that they give to white lives. So I look forward to your thoughts, and I'll see you next time when we peel back the layers. Bye.